Okay, now that you have it all out of the box, it's time for us to get started and to get your arrangement going. We're ready to arrange, and we will start with our biggest flowers first with our carnations. And I'm going to come over on this side so that you can see better what I'm doing. So we'll start with the carnations, and today I have these fuchsia, really pretty fuchsia pink ones, and you're going to cut them at like a wedge, a little bit off each side. Clean off any little pieces that might be on there, and that will go as your first flower about a half an inch into the from the back of the oasis, and then push it down so it's about so tall. So that's probably about 8 inches tall. And then we'll take your next one and cut it a little bit shorter.
Now I noticed that you're using a knife with yours. Is it okay if they use
Yes, they can use scissors. I use a knife because when I do several of them at a time, it's just easier not to have to put that scissors down each time. And when you use the scissors, you about have to put it down between each time you cut a stem. Where the knife, I can continue holding it in my hand. So, and then the next one will go a little shorter, and it'll go at an angle this way. Then it's time to start with our next flowers, and you can just break them all off. Okay. And we have another stem of the yellow daisies, is what these are. You can see that they're a daisy. And I like this particular variety with the green center. Okay, then the first thing we're going to do is take one of the larger ones and put it at an angle off to the side over here, so that it comes down, kind of comes down from, angled down from the top one there.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
Now I noticed that it's it looks like you cut off on the side there.
did.
Like this here is straight, but that's cut off. Can you tell us about that?
I cut the sides of the oasis off. You just cut it off like this to make it flatter there.
Okay, why is that?
Because if I left that sharp edge on there, it's hard to poke into it. Whereas if you have a flat edge, you can poke into that
Oh, I get that.
much better. So, okay, and we're going to put one on the other side the same way, and then we're going to put one right here in the center in the front. And then we'll take one that's a little taller, and we'll stick it up here. And be careful not to pull them in and out of the oasis too much if you have to rearrange a little bit, because if you get too many holes in there, it's going to be hard to keep the flowers in there. They're going to want to fall out. So, and then we're going to put one over here. And this one looks kind of, we'll take this one and we put it right here. Okay, we have some left here that we'll deal with those after a bit here. Next, we're going to use these here, lavender cushions. And we'll put one right in between the two yellow ones. And we'll take this other really big one, and we'll put it in between these yellow ones. And then we have kind of a tall, smaller one here. And we'll put it up here. Push that one down a little. Okay. And this one here, might put him right in there. Okay, then we can start with our next one, which is a button palm, lavender and kind of a purple and lavender mix. And then we're just going to fill in the holes. There's a hole here. And when you're putting these in, most all of them go in at kind of an angle, except these this one and these here that are straight up and down, but most of them go in at a bit of an angle. Put him here. And this is your bouquet the way you want to make it. So if you want to change things up a little bit from what I'm doing, you can always do that if you want to try something different. These little ones are nice to fill in all these little holes here. Get one back here. And we'll stick one back here, down there lower. And this is a little shorty, but it's kind of nice to have them in the back here, kind of towards the back too, to fill in a little bit. Over here. I think we better have one over here on this side. So it's filling in pretty good, and now we're going to take some of these taller ones that we had left here, and I don't mind having them kind of sticking out above the rest of the flowers. I like doing that with the little buds. It gives it some interest. And another thing is, when you're putting these in, it's essential not to hold up to here when you put them in there, because they'll can break off. Hold down as far as you can on them, down on the stem farther, so that they won't break off for you. I think we'll put this one back here. And then we'll take these other buds over here and we'll just stick them here and there.
So if they have buds, will they still open up?
I don't know that these tiny ones like this will open up. The larger ones might after a while. If it were carnations, definitely they probably would, but I'm not so sure that the palms will do that. So there is a few flowers left over on this one, because it was a stem with so many on there, and that you may not get one like that. It depends on the type of flower that you get, but there's quite a few on this one, so I think we'll go ahead and finish putting a few there. And it's better to try and move the flower a little bit like this when you put your hand down in there than to just cram your hand down in there, because that helps not to break it off. So put one over here. Okay, then next you will have 3 or 4 stems of leather leaf, which depends on how big of a stem is. Now this is a really large stem, so you'd probably only get 3 of these, and maybe even 2, because there's so much on it. So what we're going to do next is fill in, and you'll want to break the ends off so that it goes in nicely. Make sure you don't have too many of the little leaves on here. Pull them off the end. Then we're going to go in at a slant, at an angle on each side here. Pull those leaves off the bottom. And then we'll go in at an angle kind of here on each side. And you can keep just pulling them off. But to save time, I already have some pulled off here, so we'll use these. And again, moving your flowers with your hand as you put it in there, so that you're not breaking the ends off, breaking the blooms off. And this one, like this, you can just take it and stick it in there just like that, and then you've got 2 of them coming out already and filling in. So, and just keep filling in with your greenery. Oh, that one's too little. This one will stick clear in the back. If you have one that's a little, if you want to take one off the top to make it a little taller, like this, to put right here in the back so that it kind of covers up the stem of this here, the carnation. And just keep going around until you feel like you've got it filled in to you the way you like it, so that most of the oasis, this here chunk of oasis that's in here, so most of it's covered up. And you'll want to put some right along the bottom there to kind of cover the edge of your container. Okay, I think we have that front side pretty well filled in. Now we're going to go to the back, and again, you can take a bigger one if you have it, and if not, that's okay. You can use the smaller ones. And we're going to fill that in this on the back. Just covering up the green oasis. And if you have water left over, which you should have some of that water left over with the flower food in it, be sure to use that to water your bouquet. And you'll probably need to water it every second or third day. Okay, I think we have it pretty well filled in. Put one more here. Okay. All right. Then we have one thing left to do here, and that is to add a little butterfly that came in with your flowers. And I've already put a stem on it, a pick on it, so that it is going to be long enough for you to poke in there. And if it's too long, I don't think it will be, but if it is, you can always cut the end off and just put your little butterfly in there. And then your card, the card came with it, that if you're ordering it if somebody ordered it for you, this card will be in there with a piece of chocolate on it. And it'll have who it came from and their little message to you. And if it's something you've ordered to give to somebody else, then it'll come as a blank card so that you can write your own little message on there and put the name on the outside of it. So. And I think that's it. So enjoy putting your bouquet together and have fun. Thank you.